Back on, Gertie Rude, back again, a Sunday mood. Here I am, it's Sunday, day before Bank Holiday Monday, and typical British weather. It was between 28 and 30 degrees most of last week, and now it's all dull and overcast and dreary. You couldn't make it up. You always know when it's Bank Holiday because the weather's like this. So there you go. Anyway, I thought I'd hop on quickly and do this. Majority of Brits demand Harry and Meghan's royal titles stripped. Well, we've been saying that for a while now. Do you know what I mean? Crazy. After disaster, I don't think disaster accurately describes what happened on that interview. It was like a shoot show in slow-mo, wasn't it? It was really cringingly terrible. If that doesn't showcase to the world who they really are, well, we've seen her enough times in her interviews. We know who she really is. But I've said it a million times before, so I might as well repeat myself. It's only when you see him unfettered, without anybody to wipe his arse, basically, courtier-wise, that we realise that, my gosh, all those years they must really have been polishing a turd. Desperately, rabidly, polishing away every day to keep that man from coming out. Because the person he is, well, he could do with doing quite a lot of work on himself, couldn't he? But there again, there's quite a lot of men out there like that, and he seems to be the poster boy for most of them. So should we jump in and see what Dawn's got to say? And I'm a woman, before we jump in with Dawn, I used to advocate for men's rights. Can you even believe that? As well as children's rights. And now, in the past, say, year and a half, completely flipped. I couldn't give a flip about men's rights. As far as I'm concerned, men have got far too many rights, and women and children have got no rights. And this man, what he sat there, is an absolute example of how entitled men really think they are. And they think that because they're a man, they can just get away with anything. They can sit there and talk a load of old hooey, and they're marvellous. Well, you've only got to look at that Andrew interview. That was another cringe fest, wasn't it? Yeah, but don't, you know what I mean? Don't say anything about that. Do you know, yeah? Absolutely appalling. And that's not to say from it, I know that 99.9% are lovely, and men are lovely. I know a lot of lovely men. But again, it's only that 1% that ruin the world for women. Much the same way as Harry. Because he's used his power and he's ruined the lives of women. I mean, he doesn't care really about Sophie Chanduka. He doesn't care about the back of women. He doesn't care about all these people uplifting them, this, that and the other. He could go and just sprinkle a bit of gold dust about the place and feed a load of children or help a load of women that are living in grinding poverty. No, he'd rather spaff £1 million up the wall moaning about not having a motorcade and being petulant and this, that and the other. I mean, he really is scrabbling now for his very, what would I say? I wasn't going to say existence, because obviously he's got every right to exist. But I'd say his lifestyle and how he's perceived in the world. I think that was the final nail in the coffin for him. And a good, not before time. And I think a lot of men, overly entitled men, that think that they can just make up anything, I don't like freedom of speech, so I'm going to I don't like this woman, so I'm just going to do this and that and the other. I don't like Sophie Chanduka, I don't know who she thinks she is, blah-de-blah-de-blah. Let's just ruin her, yeah? And the curtain's fallen away, haven't they, yeah? The mist has cleared from in front of our eyes. That ethereal sort of silvery gold dust of the royal family that spun around the royal family certainly has fallen away when it comes to the Barry Barrington. So let's jump in with Dawn.
In this ongoing family feud,
it's not a family
after
feud.
Harry's bombshell.
It's not a family feud. That is a negative thing, Dawn. I love you, Dawn. I love you. You know I love you. But that is a negative thing, and that doesn't bring anything to the table. It doesn't help. There isn't a family feud. The family isn't feuding. If you look at the family are just getting on with their life. They're just doing their own thing. So it's not a backwards and forwards. This is the thing. It's when it's a backwards and forwards, it's a feud. Nobody's backward and forwarding. All the Britbacks are coming from the marklet and a little sidekick. The family are remaining silent, dutiful, what would you say, graceful? I'd say moralistic. They're not acting like cheap sort of bar brawlers, are they? In the way that the Marklet is. Oh, I've had such a bad life, and oh, I can't believe it, I actually take the kids to school. Never heard so much nonsense in my life. So can we just be careful with the wording? Because it's in the wording of things that things get obfuscated and then nothing gets resolved. We really need to put a delineation mark down the middle, don't we? Is it delineate? Yeah. Put a line down the middle and understand that the family who you're referring to, the royal family, have done no wrong. They haven't put a foot wrong. Not when it comes to the Marklet. They're just going about their business, minding their own business, trying to get over cancer. They never say anything back. They never give them any... We've only got Barry's word for it, and quite frankly, we've all heard enough of Barry's words, haven't we? Far too many words from him and his reprehensibly vile wife. Right, let's go.
BBC interview. It follows the Court of Appeal's decision to not overturn the ruling on his security in the UK.
Never mind.
I would love reconciliation.
You're tripping, mate.
I don't know how much longer my father has. He won't speak to me because of this security stuff. But it would be nice to reconcile. If they don't want that,
fancy the King of
that's
Britain.
entirely up to them.
Fancy the King of Britain not talking to the Barry Barrington. Oh my God! Do you know what? I think we should just defund the royal family. I mean, who do they think they are? I mean, they've got the Marvelicious Markle. And they won't talk to the Barry Barrington.
In response to Prince Harry's allegations, Buckingham Palace have actually released a statement, which is very unusual,
very
to be fair.
unusual.
All of these issues have been examined repeatedly and meticulously by the courts, with the same conclusion reached on each occasion.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, that wouldn't have been Charles that wrote that, or Camilla or William. That would have been somebody in their legal department that wrote that, or whatever. Press department, whatever it is, I don't know what it is. But I think that's very measured. And they haven't said anything for a very long time. Well, they haven't said anything ever. I think the last thing they actually commented publicly on was after the Oprah interview. One reporter shouted at William, "Are you a racist family?" And he said, "No, we are very much not a racist family." And I think between then and now, they've said nothing at all.
I'm joined now by royal commentator
My
Caroline
now,
Aston.
I know what it feels like. I know what this feels like. You know, they want you to react, so they provoke to get you to react. But you see, the more you don't react, the more petulant they get, the more, well, obvious they get, the more obvious their methods get, and the more other people can see them for who they really are. Rather than if people stand there and go, "You've done this, no, you've done that, no, you've done this, no, you've done that." No, don't say anything, keep quiet, stay silent, get on with your own life, rise above it, be graceful, be intelligent, be bright, be clever, effervescent, moral, legal, and just let them trip themselves up.
Caroline, this interview, it may have...
Ultimately, the public will make their own minds up one way or the other, won't they? That has already, to a great extent, happened.
Happened,
what,
a day and a half ago now, but it's not going away, is it? I mean, Harry's digging an even bigger hole for himself here.
Well, I think he's dug so deep now, he'll strike water any day now.
Yeah.
I mean, the problem here is, of course, well, let's just look at the words of Sir Geoffrey Voss, the Master of the Rolls, the second most senior judge in the country, when he summed up this whole issue and said he quite accepts that the Prince feels aggrieved, frustrated, that he's been badly treated, but at the end of the day, that's not the basis of sound legal argument. So he dismisses the appeal. That really says it all. So then we have this interview with the BBC.
So what you're saying is, Caroline and Dawn, what you're saying is, feelings don't matter? Is that what you're putting out there in the ether? Feelings don't actually turn over into law when Barry says, "My God, I would say I'll be blown, but there's literally no chance." Right, let's go.
Incidentally, was meant to last for 10 minutes, and he was allowed to speak for over 30. And of course, it put me very much in mind of the Oprah Winfrey interview, where all of the accusation, the prosecution case, was presented, but there was no defence, not once. And the BBC has apologised for this. Did they bear down on some of the points he made, like this establishment kind of controversy plot that he's putting forward? He paints a picture of shadowy influence.
Yeah, they've done it again, haven't they, if you think of it? That is true. I mean, I didn't hear what she says because I was in my own little world. Was she making a point about... And I'm literally here at the coalface. I know you ladies do it as well. You watch it and you don't really listen. I know. I do it. I do it, and it's me that's creating it. So... We had the Martin Bashir interview with Diana, that was the BBC. We also had the BBC interview with Andrew, it was a shoot show. Turkey shoot on it, really, do you know what I mean? Like fish in a bucket. That didn't go too well. And now we've had another BBC. It's like they always roll the BBC out when there's some shoot show to do with the royal family. Oh no, I'll give an interview to the BBC, that's a really good idea. Like, it's really worked before, you know? And, yeah, they didn't give me any pushback, they didn't really inquire. It's like it was with... Andrew, it's like a monologue. It's about them getting their grievances or their side of the story out there. And the interviewer doesn't really interview. They ask pre-scripted questions and let them waffle on, and they don't cross-reference the answers or come back with yes, but in fact, if anything, he was bossing the interviewer around. It's quite sanctimonious.
It's aimed at bringing him down. You've been talking too long. But I'll just say this to you. If you work for a firm, you sign on and accept the terms of employment, then after a while decide that job's not for you, you want to do something different. Where else in the world would you expect to take with you the perks and privileges that were part of that previous job? And the answer is, you don't.
Royal family. Oh, no, you don't. Oh, sorry. Yeah, but if you listen to his narrative, royal family.
You chose to leave.
Yes.
You chose to try a different way of living, independent, financial commitment, earning money to support your lifestyle. Yes. And of course, because the Queen quite rightly said you can't use your HRH, you can't use royal, and you can't be half in and half out, which is what they wanted. Well, ever since then we've heard, haven't we, the jingle of the golden royalty rattle being thrown out of, well, the platinum playpen of privilege. That's how I would sum that up.
Yes.
Exactly, it's quite astonishing when there's so many people suffering. Caroline, thank you very much. That's a royal commentary.
I don't think we could go really much further on this, could we really? I don't know
Caroline Aston there. Okay, let's see what my panel make of this one. Christo and Matthew are still with me.
Oh, here we go. Christo's going to go mental.
It is, I mean, how look, I mean, I'm trying to be down the middle on this one, but what he said about his dad, Matthew, we don't know how long he's got. Now, my dad died of cancer, and I would never have dreamt of saying that, even in private, let alone on TV. I just find it
the very fact he did say it in an interview on TV, knowing it was going to go across the globe, it gives you a little insight into what's actually said when the TV cameras aren't around. I've always found that with people. You see what they're prepared to do publicly. Yeah, it gives you a little glimpse. You know when you see people that are really outrageous in public and really should keep it indoors? Well, that gives you an idea of what actually does go on indoors when they are indoors and the door's shut. 10 times worse. You know, it's not that they've forgotten they're in public, it's just that their behaviour is so normalised that public or not, it's okay, yeah?
Incredibly self-entitled and not aware of what people are going through in the real world. I mean, he's living a luxury lifestyle in California. He's got a beautiful wife, healthy children, and it's all poor little me still.
Yes. I like Harry, right? And I know I put myself in a very unpopular camp here. And
all right there, love.
I feel for him a lot because he reminds me of me. And that might wind people up even more. Is he potentially...
Who's this bleeding bloke? Do we know who he is? Is he a crank? Are you a crank? Oh, welcome to the crank world, darling. You be a crank with me.
Lashing out, yes. Are his interventions poorly timed, churlish and a little bit immature? Yes. But is that because this is a man who's gone through untold...
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Boom. Wait for this, ladies, wait for this.
Levels of bizarre trauma, being on such a public stage at a young age, losing his mum in the way he did, and then essentially being the black sheep of the family. Yeah, I think that's why. I think if we don't pay for his protection, whether he keeps the titles, I don't think it matters because people will always know him as Prince Harry. I think that's irrelevant. If they want to take them, that's fine. I don't think it'll change much automatically. But I think for him, it's a little bit harder. He's spoken previously about how he felt that Meghan had saved him, and he's undergone, a lot of counselling and sort of finding himself because he
was all right before she found him, saved him, or whatever it was. He seemed all right, wasn't he? Do you remember him with Usain Bolt and that? And the Invictus Games, and that time he used to go out with William and Kate. They used to go around together. And I remember once they were doing a race. I was doing a photo shoot and, I don't know what it was, a sort of advertisement for some charity or whatever. Might have been the games, some games, the Olympics or whatever, Commonwealth. And they did a race and Harry won, and William was really trying to, he was giving, like brothers are, the big sibling rivalry, and Harry was well chuffed because he'd beaten William, because he was a faster runner than William, and poor old Kate, who's really sporty, came in quite a sort of, successful last, but she's good because she was with two men in their prime. But yeah, he was so, I remember seeing his little face, he was so chuffed that he'd actually beaten his older brother in this race. It was cute. Then came the Marklet years, darlings, the Marklet years. Long after we're all gone, this will go down in history. I'm not sure what history, but some history.
There's always one that acted out. We saw him dressing up in Nazi uniform many years ago.
Yeah,
he was playing strip poker and got caught out years ago. He was always a little bit rebellious, and probably because, I would say, if I look at my own experiences, William will have been the favourite child because he was going to be king,
right.
And he therefore didn't really have a role. And as much as it's luxury trappings and people will look and go, what a great life these people have,
right.
The levels of scrutiny and privacy you get, are bizarre. And I imagine he does want a reconciliation, but it's not as easy as when I picked up the phone to my mum and dad eventually, even though I thought I was right. They have their own people. You get messages blocked. They've spoke before about how the king won't even have control over his own diary. And it wouldn't surprise me if there was people blocking him, trying to reach out potentially.
Interesting. So you're going down the lost and lonely young man who's coping with trauma in the past. What do you make of it, Christo?
I mean, lost and lonely.
Oh, that makes sense now. Now I understand about the Baka women in the Congo. Oh, I understand now about Sophie Chanduka and the Centre Barley charity and everything. And I also understand why the Marklet's taken over the Archwell and walks around with her drawers on. I do now. That makes perfect sense. And Christo, sweetheart, where have you gone? I liked you, Plumptious. I did like you. I mean, I know there was a restraining order, but we've got over that. Where have you gone, sweetheart? You could do with a bleeding sandwich, you could. That's what you could do.
Young man, isn't he? I think he's 40.
He's 40.
Now.
I mean,
he's
40.
To me,
lovely,
he's young.
isn't he? Oh,
He's duplicitous, self-centred, vile, disloyal
half the man he used to be.
He really is.
Yes, darling.
I'm sorry. I loved Harry. I loved it when Meghan joined the royal family. I really did. I loved it when she first wore tights because, that's what you do when you become a royal lady. Do you remember when she first wore tights at what then Prince Charles's birthday?
No one cares.
It was, we were all so overjoyed when we paid millions for their wedding.
Yeah,
and then
of course we were.
what he's done since then is slowly but surely chip away at the crown and the validity of the crown and the credibility of the crown.
Yeah, the credibility. Now that is the point. That's the word I'm always groping for, but never seem to grasp. And you know how I like grasping things, darlings, don't you? Yes, it is the credibility. Sorry, Christo.
And
yeah, it is the credibility. Because even I felt that over the years of commenting and doing reaction videos, and I used to start off by doing my stand-up skits, taking the mickey out of Rachel Sparkle and Barry Barrington and all, the muchness and all the Duchess of Muchness, and making out she'd been round Gert's house and she'd been snaffling Gert's clothes and just gently taking the piss out of her as a public figure. And now it's got to the point where I just really, I can't. I have to stop myself and think, no, it's not Catherine and William's fault, it's nothing to do with them. And then every time you see them out, they're so lovely and gracious and beautiful and majestic, aren't they? You can't be cross with them. But it kind of does that to you. For the first time in my life, it's just... I've always had some issues with some members of the royal family. I know when Catherine and that... Didn't they go to Jamaica or somewhere? and the market had been there before or said something that caused trouble and it made them look bad and blah-de-blah-de-blah. It does seem to be a plot and a plan rather than just happenstance that all this has happened. There you go.
Not only did he accuse his family of racism whilst both the Queen was suffering, the late Queen was suffering dreadfully, but also the late Prince Philip, but also now he goes on once again and gives another interview giving private information and expects to be the victim.
Well,
have you been getting a load of spam in your email recently? What about random calls?
Oh.
It's really annoying, isn't it?
Have we? I don't know.
Internet via repeated remove.
Let's go.
Using the link in the description below, and you'll get 60% off an annual payment plan.
Now, Friday was a bombshell day of royal news. First up, the freshly elected Canadian Prime Minister, Mark Carney, formerly of this parish, of course, announced that Their Majesties King Charles and...
Where's that gone then?
...to sit on the throne to open Canada's Parliament for the first time in
Actually, I'm going to end
decades.
that there because I didn't realise that ended and it went into an advert and I can't be bothered to edit. Well, I can't be bothered. I just can't edit, really, than be bothered. So you're going to have it as it is. Yes, it's organic and sort of authentic, really. As authentic as it comes with Gertie Rude Studios. So anyway, I love you and leave you wherever you are in the world. I hope you gleaned something from this. I mean, have you? Have I? Probably not. Anyway, bye-bye now.